So we're gonna get started, and if you want to perform, if you want to do your funny stuff, we got a sign-up sheet here. If you want to come and sorry.
Also, it doesn't have to be funny. If you are an artist of any sort, poetry, spoken word, please join us. Yeah, tell us a story. I love a story. Anyway, there is a sign-up sheet up here if you would like to participate. Hi, I'm so happy to meet you all. Just a couple of housekeeping bits before we get started. My name is Sarah, by the way. I use she, her pronouns. And we're just going to do a bit of a vibe. Let's check it out. We're going to have some stand-up, apparently some beatboxing, whatever else. If you are interested in performing, and I'm going to take this sign-up sheet and move it to the back. So if you would like to sign up, but someone's up performing, you don't feel limited. So if you are just not ready to sign up yet and you want to check out the vibe, there is still time for you. Couple of housekeeping rules. We are a welcome and inclusive environment, so no racism, sexism, misogyny, any other ism, no homophobia, transphobia, no fat phobia, no body shaming in this room. We are a welcome and inclusive environment. If you are not okay with that, you are not welcome. See how welcoming we are? And so just please be mindful. If you do get out of hand, I will probably give you a warning from the back that the content's not for this space. And if that does not correct you, I'm a parent of 4. Correction is a harsh word. If that does not help you modify or acclimate, then I will probably take the mic from you.
Well, let's be honest. We're at MAGWest. We have never met anyone like that who was a jerk. Everyone's awesome wherever we go.
I'm just making sure,
So give it up for yourselves. And thank you all for... Come on in. You guys want to sign up? We got the sign-up sheet? No?
No, you can watch.
This is the first ever comedy, MAGComedy.
At
I guess.
MAGWest. MAGWest.
At MAGWest,
I think
right?
So, yeah.
So you guys, we're all the guinea pigs here, right? And shout out to MAGWest for having this and having us. I don't know if any of you saw... Sarah Spoon and Chris Waffle, the Chris Waffle Explosion, perform our comedy raps last year. We went on right after the opening deal. What do you call it? The opening ceremony. And we went right after that. It was played for a small but passionate crowd. And this year, MAGWest reached out to us, and they were like, "Why don't you come back? But maybe this time don't rap." And so I felt a little honored. I was confused. I'm not sure how really to take that. But, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Again, if you just joined us, if you want to perform something, it doesn't have to be comedy because we got a lot of time. This is the first one. We're going to build from here. And pretty soon... no one will even know what Rooster T. Feathers is. This will be the comedy spot. So before we begin, I think you already did the housekeeping.
2, 3, 4, 5. I think everyone can have.
I know this guy wants to sign up.
Yeah,
sign up. Here's the sign up sheet. We're gonna move it to the back
before we get started, and then I'm gonna be in the back giving. I don't know. Have any of you that are gonna perform not done an open before? No, okay. So I'll be in the back. We'll give everyone about
we're gonna
5-6 minutes if you want.
Yes.
I will flash a light at 5, and I'll hold it up at 30 seconds left. If we have plenty of time and you want more time, I'll be generous with you. I'm not trying to cut anyone off early. I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance. So I'm going to move to the back of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Waffle. Chris Waffle's up first on deck. We got Cash.
Oh, boy. How's it going? Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Well, yes. I will. I already used my best joke. I am Chris Waffle. A lot of people say Chris Waffle. That's a weird last name. Where does that come from? What's that all about? And Well, it's Belgian in origin. Thank you. What else do I have to talk about? I was at the swimming pool earlier. Everyone go out to the pool party today? It's awesome. Pool parties at MAGWest are where it's at. And I was hanging out there today. I'm going to be hanging out there tomorrow. But I was thinking when I was out there, I don't like melons. The fruit. I don't like melons, the fruit. I don't like melon at all. I don't like honeydew. I don't like cantaloupe, cassava, regular watermelon, Hermiston watermelon, Bradford family watermelon, Mountain Sweet yellow watermelon, snap melon, winter melon, also known as the ash gourd, Charente, that's a French one, Bailon, Crenshaw, autumn sweet. I don't like melon. But you know what I do like? Mayonnaise. Speaking of mayonnaise, I went to the doctor, and Dr. Cesar, it's important to see your doctor, especially for a comedian, because you need to make sure you have the right level of okay physical health and poor mental health to really make it in comedy. So I went to, I talked to Dr. Cesar. I love Dr. Cesar because he gets me on that comedic level. One time I got into an accident and I went in and I said, Dr. Cesar, I think I broke my arm in 2 places. And he said, well, you better stop going to those places. He stole that joke from Henny Youngman, but no, who cares? And Henny Youngman died in the 90s. No one knows who he is. I just appreciate it because, he got me on that level. But I was kind of feeling down. I went in there from the checkup and he goes, well, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know, Dr. Cesar, I was hoping that at this point in my life, this phase in my life, that I would just still have some swagger, I would still be. He was confused. I was like, well, how can I put this? I still wanted to be someone who maybe like a Republican congressman would hit on in a public restroom. Does that make sense? I still wanted to have that. And he said, well, what are you doing at home to kind of achieve that goal? And I said, well, I'm staying away from melon, number one. And I'm eating a lot of mayonnaise on bread. So he all he could really do is prescribe me some cholesterol medication. But I think that before we bring up our first person here, what I really want to leave you with as we start the show is that the average person lives around 29,000 days, and each day that passes, we're one step closer to our own deaths. So let's bring up Cash. Give a big round for Cash. Who's up on deck? And all right, here we go. Come on, give it up for Cash, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Chris Waffle, everybody. How many days do we have left now? Yeah, math isn't my strong suit either. So, I'm a hacker by trade, definitely not a comedian yet. And I just want to correct a little bit of the record with hackers. Movies give us way too much credit. I cannot down a fighter jet or stop a drone swarm. I really do the same thing as the rest of you guys. So, you log on to the internet, you check your messages. I log on to the internet, I check your messages. You download a new game. Anyone played Black Myth Wukong? Anybody? Woo! One guy likes Dark Souls plus Dragon Ball Z. Delightful. Excellent. One girl too. So you download it, I update it for you, just to make sure it's working right, and maybe a couple people like to swipe the dating apps. You swipe with an app, you start chatting with a lady. I'm chatting with you. And, it's mostly the same. And so this is my first time doing this, and I told a good friend that I've known for a long time. I was the weird kid in the group, and he was kind of the other weird kid in the group, and so we've sort of kept each other honest throughout our life. Like, hey, I'm becoming a stand-up comedian. Just want to try it out, see how it goes. And so I tell him my opener, and he just goes, "That's really funny." Fuck. And it's difficult because I've known him for a really long time, and this is a guy who's really developed. We were both Dungeons and Dragons playing nerds before it was something that was considered, cool. And we used to hang out a lot together, go to clubs together, try to talk to girls together. And there's something that he did very early on that nobody else really did. He was very into body mods. So this is a person who would be in a group that suspends women on hooks. They do some beatboxing. Where's the beatboxing guy? Yes, they would do some beatboxing. It was a very eclectic show. And so his mod that he got was he has a forked tongue. You see how some people said, "Ooh," and then some people were like, "Why the fuck does that matter?" And I want you to think about it again. A forked tongue. And so when we would hang out together, we'd all be in casual conversation talking, and then he would say something, and they'd have a little bit of a lift because he had the two fucking tongues. And then the girls would just build the synapses in their head. Oh, wow, that's very good. So I had to pick up another hobby. And so I've done a lot of weird things in my life. I made a pen and paper game. I used to play Magic cards. And I've done a lot of weird jobs as well. And so before I was a hacker person, I was a game tester. Anybody test games, play games out here? Anyone game testing out here? Woo! Yeah, all right, sick. So I think it's in the retro game arcade now, which is just depressing. I tested the only game that came out for the PlayStation 3. It was called Resistance: Fall of Man. I can still remember the opening. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. I have a joke just for you. Are you telling me that the Chimera didn't get everybody? I better auger in a bullseye joke because these ones aren't hitting. Oh, okay. Sorry. If I go that far, it'll just be depressing. I'm hitting nobody. Anywho. So when I worked at Sony, this was very much like the documentary Grandma's Boy, if you have seen it. There was a lot of antics. I worked in night shift, so I get to work at 3:30, the very early time of 3:30 in the PM. And I would stay there until about 11 a.m. They kind of worked us like dogs. But we had our own office, air quotes office. I shared it with somebody. And it was always like a sleepover, like a teenage LAN party, kind of like what we're at now. And I'll tell you, we just started to disassociate from the world. My job was beating the game as fast as possible. Do you guys know what a speedrunner is? Anybody? Obviously, very good. And once you get into that mode, you start doing everything that way. Like, ooh, fastest way to brush my teeth. Ooh, yeah, so if I leave the cap there, that saves frames. And you just start doing these things that put you in speedrunner mode, right? And so I always kind of wondered, if we could live forever, there would be somebody who would do speedruns for old versions of living life. Like fastest person to the DMV, very, very much a category. Any percent get divorced, very much a category. So, it was fun playing games for a job, testing games for a living. We had these weird characters. Some insane people were game testers. And we used to get pulled into these meetings. Every person in the building had to be pulled into this meeting. And it is because we had a ceiling shitter. Now, I see a bunch of confused faces, so let me explain what a ceiling shitter is. It is an individual who would throw poop on the fucking ceiling. And we had meetings about this, and we tried to discern who was the ceiling shitter, who was this elusive entity. And we never figured out who it was, and I really wish that I had a little bit more time to tell you about some of the insanity that was that existence, but I'm going to tell you one quick story. So there was a time when I was beating the game, and I had to beat the game very quickly, and I was doing the job of 4 people, and the CEO of Sony appeared behind me like a fucking phantom. I'm like, you know how like there's a black mirror of a screen and then like the level changes? There's 3 men in Japanese well-pressed bespoke suits and my boss just grinning ear to ear like, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing, buddy? You're gonna scream weird things to the CEO of Sony? Don't do that. And so, without missing a beat, because I'd played this game so much, my whole life, 20 hours a day for about 6 months to a year straight. Without missing a beat, I'm holding the controller, I'm still playing. I bow. Hello, Mr. Harai, my name is Cash Turner. I am the playthrough for Resistance of Fall of Man. Do you have any questions? All he says to me is, impressive. And that's my time. Thank you much. Yeah.
Give it up for Cash. Yes. Y'all, if you've never done this before, it is absolutely terrifying the first few times you do it. And I am so proud of Cash for jumping up in front of a crowd like this. All right, y'all. We have on deck Ray J, KJ. Rage. I'm so sorry. Say it again for me. Rage Cage. I apologize. Rage Cage is on deck. Andrew Downing is on next. If you have not, come on up. If you came in late, you want to sign up, do some sort of performance, stand up, spoken word, poetry, beatboxing, anything. I have a sign up sheet. Come find me. There's a couple of spots left. I'm giving 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, giving you a light at 5, and then holding it up with 30 seconds left to 6. All right, y'all. Andrew.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, and I like to party. Fun fact about me, my father was a drug addict and an alcoholic, had a brief stint as a San Francisco crackhead. A lot of people like to say things like, you'll understand your dad better when you have kids one day, but I'm not going to have kids, made that decision for myself. So for me it's more like, you'll understand your dad better when you have substance abuse issues. I think I do okay. I smoke a bit, I drink a bit. I used to drink a lot more when I was in my 20s, my body could handle it. Used to go to a lot of parties. This one time I went to a party at a friend's house, and I got there late. I got there around 8 o'clock, and these guys had been drinking since noon. So I needed to catch up. So I get there, I pour myself a drink. She gets it. Pour myself a drink, I start saying hi to people. I take a few Jell-O shots, and I reach the backyard where there's a hot tub, and go to the hot tub and I say hi to people and they're like, Andrew, get in the hot tub. And I'm like, I didn't bring anything to wear in the hot tub. And they go, who cares? I go, you make a good point. So I strip down to my boxes. I have my friend bring me another drink and he brings me this big cup of some blue liquid. He goes, have fun. And I go, great. So I have this blue drink that I'm drinking and I quickly discover that I'm the only one in this hot tub wearing any clothes at all. And I don't want to be the weirdo. So I chug the rest of this drink. I strip out of my boxers, and I'm suddenly very drunk in this hot tub, attached to a pool I've never been in, and people are getting in the pool, and I'm like, well, there's naked people in the pool, so obviously I should be in the pool, right? So I dive into this pool, having never been in it before, and there's just a thunk as I hit my head on the bottom of the pool. And I surface, and I'm okay. I'm in pain. I'm a little woozy. I lost my glasses. I found them. It was okay. The night gets a little blurry from there. I do remember playing a new game I invented called Who Saw My Penis, where I try to sleuth out who saw it while I was running around drunk and probably concussed. Just 'cause if you've already seen it, it's one more thing I don't got to worry about, right? I didn't win. But I did talk to my friend about this drink later, and he was like, oh yeah, that was my version of an AMF. I don't know if you guys know what an AMF is. But instead of Sprite, I put energy drink in it. So the bartender at the place we're at goes, oh, you changed an ingredient. You have to call it something else. You can't call it an AMF. So I go, how about you call it concussion? And he goes, that's a good idea. So I have this new drink called concussion, and I decide to make it at this other convention called Fanime. If you guys go to Fanime like I do, you drink a lot at Fanime, because that's what I do. And I decided this year that I'm going to host the room party for a bunch of my friends. I put in $300 for alcohol. And everyone is really grateful. They end up oh, let me give you some cash. Let me tip you for putting in so much to host the party. And by the end of Saturday night, I have $200 back. So I do the only logical thing I can do. I go to the store and I buy more booze. And we have a pretty good weekend. I got other stories about that for another day. But the next year at Fanime, I want to host a party again, but I don't have quite as much. But I'm like, maybe I'm not going to count on it, but maybe people will be nice and tip me again. And that year, no one even fucking offered. And I can't help but wonder if they were just like, oh, don't give Andrew any money. He's just going to spend it all on booze. It did make me feel a little bit closer to my father, though. I did this set for him when I first came up with it because he was always a big comedic inspiration in my life. He was one of the first funny people I knew. And the only thing he said when I finished was, I don't know if it's fair to call me a crackhead. I don't think I smoked that much crack. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Andrew Downing. Yeah. Actually, tomorrow, he didn't mention this, but tomorrow in this room, I think he's hosting a panel that's Who Saw My Penis? Is that tomorrow? Is that, I don't know, I thought I saw it on the maybe, okay. Cash mentioned speed running. Does anybody in this room is more like me, where the older you get, the less you're able to actually beat a video game? I asked this last year and it was like dead silent. So thank you for the head nods. What's the opposite of a speed runner? I'm like a slow crawler. It's more like a long player. Like it's a rage quitter, maybe. I know there's a lot of that. All right. Well, on deck we have the hilarious and quite stylish Vicky Beretta. But first, to wow us with some beatboxing. I'm very excited for this. Give it up for Rage Cage.
I get up my own mic because I don't want to.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Just take out the XLR. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
All right, so now some context on the name of Rage Cage. Many years ago, I have a friend named Matt Trudeau. Not him, but so we were at this house party, and he, very drunk. There was some music got done playing, and he was trying to convince me to get up on the mic to do beatboxing, and he was like, "Come on, do it. If you had," and then later on the night, he said, "Man, if you had gotten up there and mic'd on, you had beatboxing that, you would be beatboxing fill in blank here." And he said, "You got to uncage the rage." So Rage Cage. I don't know. I tried, but anyway. So yeah, beatboxing. Been doing that for a long time, and I used to host an open mic for close to 10 years, and I would take a spot, do my thing, and that's kind of where I developed it really a lot. And I would do some funny stuff, but it takes me a lot to rev up to do the funny ha-ha. So here we go. Where to start? Who likes New Jack Swing? Now it's just going to devolve from here. Oh, fuck! God damn. I'm not well practiced, but now also one of my other favorite things is, of course, we're here. We all love video game music. That's where my first love of music came from, and is actually the reason why I started beatboxing. So, let's see. Who likes Hydro City from Sonic 3? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Hydrocity. Kitai. I don't know. But so acts 1 and 2. It's one of my favorite things to do. So here we go. Without further ado. Thank you.
Well, that was insane. Nice. Give it up for Rage Cage. I loved everything about that. Thank you for sharing your gift. On deck is mode 7. Oh, hi, there you are. You're on deck. But next is the very hilarious Vicky.
Well, what that mouth do? That's all I was thinking. My last name's Beretta like the gun because I'm a lot of bang for your buck. Hence the pants, That's the pants. I am 4'10", and I used to be teased a lot for my height, but I just have one thing to say to all my bullies, all right? I might be 4'10", but that's pretty tall for a nightstand. All right, it's really, really tall, actually. I checked every single one. So I have dated long distance in my life, but for me, dating long distance is when my partner is 6 feet or over. It's a lot of missed communication at that distance. It's a lot of, what'd you say? Nothing. Could have been the wind. And then it's like we broke up because we could not hear each other. It's very true, So he's calling me like a long distance partner does one time. And he's like, what's up? You looking beautiful down there. And I'm like, thank you. Your hip bones are looking fire. I don't know what you're going to do with the top of my head, but I got everything I need right here. Yeah. Tall guys tend to get very insecure about losing me, though, in a crowd. Very much so, very much so. So I switched to dating shorter dudes because they're actually way easier to make happy, believe it or not. Because they could tell me that they're 6 feet or like over, and as long as they're 5'5", I'll believe them. It's all nose hairs from there anyway, right? It's all the same. Yeah, and they're also more romantic than tall guys, right? Because instead of them losing me in a crowd, we lose each other. Started wearing reflective gear, helped a lot. Highly recommend. Yeah, the worst short jab I've ever heard, though, was someone called me a cockroach. Yeah, thank you. That's how I felt, everyone. And this lady explained. She's like, no, you're like a survivor. Just like a cockroach, you survived catastrophic, apocalyptic events. And in the back of my head, I'm like, she needs to work on her compliments. But before I could say that, she just goes, see you next session. Yeah, not how I thought therapy was going to go the first time, all right? Not at all. Not one bit. So I grew up Vietnamese looking Mexican, which doesn't mean much unless you also share the pain of being ethnically ambiguous and all that. Yes. I could see some nods. Yeah, but it means that, you know, if I tell people I'm just Mexican, they always ask me, do you speak Spanish? And if I tell people I'm Vietnamese and Mexican, they're like, oh, that's why you're short with good hair. So do you speak Spanish? It's all they care about. They can't get past the face. But I grew up Asian, I did, but for some reason my Asian family members hired a Mexican-looking girl to clean the house every day. And guys, I hated her because it was me. They didn't believe I was Asian either. They really didn't. You know, we had a lot of interesting interactions at home. You know, they would always threaten me with jail. They'd be like, you go jail. And I'd be like, I feel like we're in jail. There's 16 of us and none of us want to be here, you know? And on top of that, the food was rationed between all of us and the 24 Buddha shrines across the house. So, you know, I started stealing food from the Buddha shrines. You know, I mean, to be honest, it was a fight between me and the rats, all right? Someone had to get it. It was going to be me. It's going to be me. Buddha can't talk. It's okay. Yeah, so another insult they had was they would always say this in their language. I don't know if anyone speaks Vietnamese, but it's not perfect. I'm sorry. I'll butcher it. But they would say "tai yorak," which translates to "I'll put you back in the garbage," which is a wild confession, right? Because I didn't even know that's where I came from. Like, now things make more sense, all right? Yeah, so you might be wondering, like, how am I part Vietnamese at all? Like, I'm a quarter, right? And the thing is that my grandpa, you know, he was white and he wanted to find love. He dreamed about finding love across seas. So, you know, but the problem is he was broke. So he joined the only all-inclusive singles retreat that he could afford, which was the army. You know, and, you know, when he met my grandma, she threw her arms around him because her true love was actually a green card. You know, and yeah, that's my love story from my grandparents. And then it was like buy one, get one, right? So he got his love delivered along with my mom by boat. Yeah, what do I want to wrap up with? Okay, so let's see. What is your type, ma'am? Do you have a type? No, you don't? Anyone, all, everything. Oh, that's amazing. I love cons. Everyone's like that. Who's a little more pickier? What is your type? Like a Nintendo Wii? A Nintendo U? Oh. Okay, well, anyway, we'll go with that. I like it. So I have narrowed it down to two types, right? I feel like when you're out in the world getting hit on, it's never by someone you want to hit on you, right? It's always by something else, anything else. So I've narrowed it down to two types, and my two types are either lesbians covered in tattoos, or, because I'm bi, men who look like lesbians covered in tattoos. So I'm looking for a ruby rose. Please send her my way. All right, thank you.
Give it up one more time for Vicky Beretta. Wow. Crowd work. Bold move on the crowd work. It's hard. I will say some feedback to MAGWest for next time. I think open bar in the back will really get things going. Yeah, right? Well, fill out the form at the end of the thing. Can we get the... Is it working? We're going to see if we can get something going. All right, there it is. Well, that was easy. Awesome. Try it. Make sure it... Yeah, sounds good up there? All right. Well, on deck, we've got Tom, But right now, as you can see, close personal friend, Mode 7, give it up.
Thank you. My mouth is a little dry because I just did the chiptune open mic earlier, but this one I have a funnier song. Does anyone enjoy a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day? Yes. All right, this song isn't about that, but anyone that cheered can't get mad when I cuss now. So this one is, I do a lot of open mics, so I decided to make a mixtape that is 6 minutes long, luckily. Perfect timing for this open mic. And it's all about Wario. So maybe you'll recognize a couple of these beats, because I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. Where the hell did this greedy motherfucker come from? Crashing in, dressed up like he thinks he's someone. Fat and dumb, but I'll still make all the ladies come. Told you from day one I'm gonna win, and now I've won. How come never in doubt? Taking over your whole house. I'm the man of the magic. Feet stretched out, fuck your couch. I'm a man of action, actively destroying all doubts. Game over, done till the batteries fall out. I'm afraid that there's nothing you can do. Got these railers that I'm feeling brand new. Afraid that the best me is a better you. Put these kids to bed. Curfew. All right. Never spin out, full control, new route. No idea where I am, but I'm probably due south. Always down in the lab until the new album out. Written down, nothing but W's falling out my mouth. Just a little game while I'm gaining more land. These little flames ain't gonna change who I am. Stay in the lane while I run another scam. Pop the truck, smash the windows, quick money ATM. All right. Maybe I said a little too much, but you know how I get in the clutch. In the paint once, record button push. What a rush, shots up soon as the rock touch. Fireworks when I get the work done. You're the worst if you make me get dumb. Rock the block, destroy the whole neighborhood. You're the worst if I end up understood. We're going through every Game Boy Wario game if you haven't noticed. Let these lines be the diary of the wealth I'm gathering, of the stacks of balls I'm letting everybody see. Step behind the curtain for a little fee. Snake oil salesman slithering through a new scheme. New scene, chewing scenery for the fame, for the passion, for the love of the game. On a search for more money every day. If I toss a few good guys out my way, that's okay. Let's start with the fakes, waste of space. Got them coming through in spades, role players easily replaced. If you out to save the day, I'm here to hit a race. As I contemplate the capital that I create. Animated like the creation of a monster. Heroes or foes hit the floor with no honor. Mastered all the animosity I foster. Time that the main rogue is added to the roster. I'm gonna get even higher now. Damn, it feels like a dream. Win the lottery and act like it's all me. Look closer, Lenny, notice anything? Covered in gold and the biggest rapper rapping. Big step of stamping, trampoline like a stampede. Start to your knees, start worshiping me. Testament to ego and greed, shining brightly. Think I'll start an entire industry. Day and night, money 24-hour climb through the sky. Above the clouds, high as a kite. Just a guy trying to live my life and grab every coin inside. It reflects light, it's mine. Just add it to my shine, add it to my save, no time to wait. Make it now, spend it at a later date. Let the wealth accumulate. Got this from the substrate, financier of my own fate. So who's played Super Mario Land 2? And then who's played Wario Land? And Wario Land 2? Wario Land 3? Wario Land 4? I like you. Started on the Game Boy, now I run the Game Boy, just a pawn in a bigger story coming to a story. Dungeon foes, I'm done with this toy. I'm done being annoyed. Toss another novelty in the void, never to be played again on the stage instead of them. Always game over when I got my pen. Your turn when I say when. Play the better fence if you want to keep me away from the hands. But this one right here is from WarioWare Twisted. We played that one. Step it up with that VG funk. Chips and drums up in the club. Time to turn it up. Hold my cup, about to say something dumb. About to make some adjustments to my income. got a zombie knocking on the door. Even though I killed you, still got you coming back for more. Virgin like Seymour, run to mommy when you're floor. Telltale that I put you underneath the floorboards. On God, I'm here for the money, who cares about the job? Turn a thought into a mob, Psycho 100 when I'm on. Just till the break of dawn. Ready at the game, turn the TV on. Head up power and they're singing my song. What can possibly go wrong? Get that treasure and I'm gone. All right. Thank you so much, Chris Waffles, for putting this together. Let's roll credits right here. Shouldn't have gotten me started. Better not let the junkyard dog start barking. Use some logic more often. Can't damage me, never see me in a coffin. No game overs, I'll simply adapt. No matter where I'm at, making money like a maniac. Gain the advantage after any attack. Enemies don't know how to react. Thought I was another clown falling through the cracks. Thought I wasn't serious cause you didn't see the fact. Always on adventure, never tell me to relax. Flying like a blue shell, closing in real fast. Run a couple laps while I'm running mine too. Running circles like you're in the eye of a monsoon. Consumed by the thought of me climbing onto Mount Rushmore, blow it up real soon. Whew. All right, thank you so much. We've got lots of awesome artists. Everyone that went up before was amazing, had me laughing. So thank you so much for bringing your skills to this open mic. And I also have some stickers if anyone wants any.
Awesome. Give it up for Mode 7. Tom will be up next. On deck will be Adam, right? Did I get your name right? Sorry, I didn't take a good look at the paper. Adam, and then I'll close us out. So up next, Tom, where are you? There you are. Give it up for Tom.
Hello, hello. I think this is the first time I've done an open mic since high school, so I'm sorry if I'm a little rusty. But do we have any game developers in here? We got one, we got two. Sweet, sweet. I'm here at MAGWest to showcase off my game, so I thought it'd be fun to share one of my game development horror stories. So I graduated from UC Santa Cruz with a degree in game design. After graduation, I was like, I'm gonna get a job in the industry fast. It's gonna be super quick. 5 months later, no job in the industry. I'm back at home living with my parents, and I need money quick. And I see a job opening at my old school for a special education aide. And I'm like, okay, sure, that seems pretty easy. I'll do that. I'll apply for that. I do the interview. I get hired, and on the first day, they tell me I'm going to be chaperoning a. This is not the real kid's name, but I'm going to be chaperoning a little boy named Mike. And I'm like, okay. But they tell me before I meet him that he has bouts of schizophrenic rage, so I should be aware of that. So I spend a few hours with him. I get to know him. He's like a nice little, sweet little 9-year-old boy. You know, he seems pretty fun. I'm like, Mike, what's your favorite superhero? Superman. You know, what are you having for lunch? Apples. You know, he's very, very sweet, very fun. And we're playing catch. And I toss him the ball. He tosses the ball back. I toss him the ball. And then he comes up to me and decks me in my crotch, pushes me down, spits in my face, and calls me the N-word. And I'm not black, if you can't tell. And this is the rage that they had warned me about. And it got to a point that, like, every day at a random point, this 8-year-old would just start beating me up. And I can't really do much about it. I later learned that the only reason they hired me was because I was the biggest person that they interviewed. So I was the tallest and biggest. They're like, this guy is going to be able to take a punch. Yeah, he's got to tank it. And so I literally every day I'm coming back home with more bruises. It's really hard to explain to your parents like why you're coming home black and blue. And it's like, well, an 8-year-old hit me. And it's not like I can't fight back. It's against, so I literally just have to either have to run away or just let him hit me, and it was no fun. After the third or fourth day, I went to Big Five and bought a cup so that I could protect my future children. And so I after about a month of this, I was getting desperate. For obvious reasons, getting beaten up by a child for minimum wage is not a fun thing to do. It's not a good job. And anyway, I have a friend of mine. I had a friend named Hunter, and he called me up one day. And this was kind of right at the beginning of COVID, or slightly into it. And he calls me up, and he's like, "Yo, dude, I've been talking to this one company. They're gonna pay me to make an ad game. And it's only gonna take like a month and a half. It's gonna be $4,000." I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. What kind of ad game does it have to be? Well, it's gotta be a visual novel. And it's just going to be an ad for this company. It's going to be a visual novel. It's a cryptocurrency company, though. And I want to be clear up front. I don't like cryptocurrency. It sucks. But I had no knowledge of it at the time. I only knew it as like internet money. You know what I mean? Like, really didn't know anything about it. But, it's either like $3,000 for something I know how to do, or being called the N-word again by a child. And so it was not a hard decision to make. So I'm like, all right, sign me up. And and then I asked, what's the company's name? And he goes, Cum Rocket. And and he was like, they're a porn cryptocurrency company. And I'm like, oh God. And I go like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Go to school the next day. I get stabbed with a plastic fork. Call him the next day. I'm like, all right, sign me up. Let's do this. So I leave my old job. And a bit about Hunter, the guy who got me on board. He was a weird dude. Weird dude. The first time I met him, it was at a game jam, and I very distinctly remember his entrance. He crashed into the tree in front of the place we were staying at, and then he walked out. And he walked out. Everyone runs out. We're all worried. He opens the car door, and he's like, "Wow, that didn't hurt." Just completely, just not even out of it, just barely acknowledging he crashed a car. And one time he invited me to a party, and this was his words, not mine. I'm just relaying what he said. At the party, he kept calling things like, "Oh man, that's retarded. Oh, that's retarded. That's stupid." And I had been working with special needs kids at that point for a little bit. And I told him hey, you probably shouldn't say that anymore. That's kind of rude and distasteful. And then he looks me in the eye and he goes "Dude, I was on the short bus until my senior year of high school. I can say that as much as I want." And it's I can't really argue with him on that point if he was really taking the short bus for that entire time. Anyway, so he invites me to make this porn cryptocurrency game. And again, exactly. So we're making it. It's a visual novel. And so we keep on working on it and working on it. And it's not porn. It's using it was animated, like anime. So it was using the NFTs of it. And anyway, this is I'm getting to the horror story part. We make the game, but then the cryptocurrency shoots through the roof. It shoots through the roof, and so we were being paid in the cryptocurrency. So what was originally $3,000 becomes $40,000, and we are through the moon. We are excited, and then Hunter tells me, "Dude, let's not cash out. The game's not even released. Let's not cash out. Let's wait. Then it's gonna really get big." And so yeah, again, I just thought internet money, It's internet money. Yeah, I believe him. I really didn't know anything about it or what I was really doing at all. So the game was getting close. And who knew a porn cryptocurrency company would be very skeevy? Because when they shot up through the roof, they fired their whole marketing team. And so they decided that we don't want to make a visual novel anymore. They kept asking us, "Can you turn this into a match 3 game or an Animal Crossing game?" And we were you paid us for a visual novel. We can't turn a visual novel into a match 3 game. That's not how reality works. You know what I mean? You don't ask for a sandwich and then half of the sandwich ask to turn into a pie. It's I can't do that. And anyway, so we're practically finished with the game. We're practically done. And we get to a point where they stop talking to us. They're not responding to us anymore. And eventually we get contact with them that they were only going, they paid us half at that point, where they're going to pay us at the release of the game. Well, they didn't have to release the game. We finished the game, but they weren't going to release it, so they didn't have to pay us the second thing because the ad team decided that the visual novel aspect wasn't enough. So, long story short, the game doesn't get released, and we don't get paid. And it turns out, I'm almost finished. My apologies. I see the light. This is my video game development horror story. It turns out Hunter had cashed out my half of the cryptocurrency, but not even when it was high. When it dipped. So at the end of it, I only had like $1,000 left, as compared to that would have been $30,000. I was very mad. I was very crushed. I was very betrayed by my friend, and I was talking to my sister, like I was telling her this whole story, and I tell her this entire story, and then she goes silent a bit, and she's like, "Okay, I feel bad for you, but maybe you shouldn't have trusted a dude who literally told you he was retarded with your money." I'm like, that's a fair point, Eileen. Thank you. So that's my video game horror story.
Give it up one more time for Tom, the human pinata. Boy, that story had a lot of ups and downs. I'm still holding on to my Cum Rocket shares. So to the moon. Let's see. We're gonna have Sarah Spoon all the way from Portland, Oregon, close this out. But before that, we're gonna hear from Adam. Give it up for Adam.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I should qualify before I start. I am not a comedian. I'm actually a freelance writer. If none of you have ever done that, it's exactly like being unemployed, but you're really, really good at it. You've leveled up so that when you have a job, you still don't have a job. It's a hell of a trick, actually. Every single time I tell people about this, the next question they ask me is, "So what do you write?" To which the answer is, "Nothing. Didn't you hear what I just said?" Never actually attempted stand-up before, but that's okay. I figure, I'm doing all sorts of new things this weekend. For example, I've never been to a con before. This is not a joke. I'm not a con guy generally, but I'm having a good time. I'm here because my girlfriend wanted to go. She loves cons, and she talked me into it. And before we left today, what she told me was, and I'm not making this up, she said, "Don't feel like you've got to hang around me all day here," which is a very comforting thing to hear from the love of your life. I'm going to embarrass her, though. Sweetie, wave at everybody. Why did you look? She's not here. I gave you all of the clues, but you still looked. I can't understand this. No, this is true. She's not here, and that's okay. Space is important in a relationship, but I am starting to worry that maybe this is her plan. It's like when you need to lose a dog and you drive it out into the country. I've never actually done that, but I've been told it's a thing that you could do. But you can't do that with me because I have GPS and I'm slightly smarter than the dog. So, it would be a very relaxing day for her, but eventually I would walk all the way home like, "Honey, you'll never believe what happened. You accidentally slammed the door and locked it and accelerated away at 75 miles per hour. I kind of swerved to hit me on the shoulder a little bit and then didn't call me back 40 times in a row. What's going on?" So her plan here, I assume, is that if we hang out here long enough, I will eventually get sucked into a Pathfinder game, and by the time I'm done with that, she'll have changed the locks and probably her full legal name. You may wonder, if this is what's on my mind right now, why aren't I taking any steps to thwart it? And honestly, I'm just kind of proud that she's following through. She's a little bit indecisive about what she wants to do with her life, and so she's made a decision. Not me. I kind of have to admire that. That's fine. There are things I could do. I could probably take better care of myself. I could probably dress a little bit better instead of showing up I wear this every single day. I'm like a cartoon character. I have this exact outfit in my closet in like 12 different versions of it. This is a true story, by the way. I once went into Wilkes Bashford, the menswear store in San Francisco where Willie Brown buys everything. I was not there to shop, in case you can't tell. But when I got onto the elevator, another guy in there looked at me and he said, "Very Wraith-like." So I ate his soul. One part of that story is true. I'll let you figure out which part it is on your own. I did mention before that I play Pathfinder. You didn't need to be told that because you all have at least one working sense. And that's pretty much all it takes. People in a vegetative state who can only taste know that about me when I walk into a room. Guys who have been in comas wake up and go, is there a Vampire the Masquerade player suddenly in the room? Is this guy a gangrel anarch? And then that's it. That's the only word they've spoken for the last 20 years. And it goes into a medical journal somewhere, and I pretend that it never happened. Let me think. I remember the one time, again, it was kind of inevitable that would end up being one of my hobbies. It's like an eclipse. It was not something that was always happening, but it was always going to happen. There was this one time I was in college, and I was working at this little sandwich shop, and a guy that I worked with who he'd never played Dungeons and Dragons, but he'd heard of the game, and he was really, really curious. And I'm like, well, I've got a game every Saturday. We've got an open spot. He had to change his schedule around, but he got very, very excited about it. And he kept asking me all sorts of questions, and it was kind of flattering because positive feedback is nice for once. And so, but he didn't really 100% understand the game. And so one day I come in, and he asks, hey, how'd the game go the other day? I'm like, well, it was okay, but one guy died. And he's like, really? What happened? I'm like, well, he failed a saving throw. It's fine. But, my coworker, he does not understand what that means. And the longer the conversation goes on, the more I realize he thinks someone actually died. That I, the dungeon master, physically killed a guy, presumably because I did not approve of his style of play. And I quickly disabused him of this, but to this day, I wish I hadn't, because, imagine the stories he would tell. He would be going around to this day, presumably saying, yeah, man, I wanted to get in D&D, but it was too hardcore for me. I just didn't think I could cut it. Sadly, I robbed him of that, but, fingers crossed. Next time, I'll know better. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Give it up one more time for Adam. Fantastic. And before I bring our final comic up to the stage, just want to, first off, give yourselves all a round of applause for coming here and doing all this. You guys have been awesome. Give it up for Cash, who's not here now, Vicky, Mode 7, everybody, Tom, Adam, and Rage Cage. How could I forget? Everybody's been awesome. You guys have been great. I feel like maybe they might bring me back to actually rap next year instead of doing this. We'll have to see. Fingers crossed. I'll find my niche someday. But for now, we're going to bring up the amazingly hilarious and very sexy Sarah Spoon. Give it up for Sarah Spoon.
We're going to do some stuff I haven't done in a bit. Let's see if I remember it. Some new stuff, some old stuff. I just like to keep it going. So good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this. I'm so happy to see so many people here the first time. Whoa. I'm too clumsy for chords. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm just having generally a difficult time with the state of the world, right? And what I've found is that as adults, we struggle to communicate how we're feeling when things aren't going well. What's it going to take for us to break down and talk about what's happening? Now, look, it's okay to freak out. I'm freaking out. You're freaking out. We're all freaking out, right? Fascism is on the rise across the United States and Europe. Somehow old Small Hands Donnie is within reach of the presidency again. Our Flag Means Death and Quantum Leap were both canceled after only 2 brilliant seasons each. And I just found out the banana is on the brink of extinction. What the fuck is happening? It's the year of our Lord 2024. None of us are fine. But you ask anyone in this room how they're doing, and the worst they'll tell you is, I'm fine. And we're not fine. Ask a kid how they feel, they'll tell you the fucking truth. I was out with some friends a few weeks ago. My teenagers were at home because I don't like parenting. And I received a text message from my youngest child, and no punctuation, no capitalization. All it said was, "We are scared, we are screaming." Now, Some parents, that might incite some concern. Is one or both of them injured? Someone breaking into the house? We had run out of chicken strips. But I applaud them for their ability to communicate how they're feeling in a dire time. And really, is there any better way to encapsulate that invigorating feeling you get waking up day after day to whatever this is? Here I am answering all my emails with kind regards, when the whole time I should just be ending every conversation and email with, I am scared, I am screaming. Not everything's super hard. I'm learning a lot about myself. I recently beat breast cancer. Yes. It's almost October. Get your mammograms. Or grope yourself. Both work. Mammograms are a little bit better, though. So in that, I really wanted to learn more about myself, figure out what my strengths are, what I actually loved in life, what brought me joy. Turns out I'm what they call a bossy bottom. And I'm okay with this because I like playing with power dynamics, but in a way where I don't have to do any work. Don't all rush the stage at once to get my number. I'll be here all weekend. Look, it's just that I know what I want. And recently, I've learned that I won't let anyone go down on me until I've observed their approach to consuming a Jell-O shot. Yeah, look, neither of us want to be here long enough that you qualify for a mandatory 15-minute break. So I need to know what level of tactician I'm working with. Is it someone on the NASA team that landed the Mars rover? Or someone on the NASA team that authorized the Challenger launch? Too soon. It's been 36 years, you guys. But I get it. The Challenger launch was a national tragedy. We've had so many, but this was among them. First teacher into space. I love teachers. I love educators. Sent our first one to space. Millions of kids across the country were watching live on TV. And I don't know if you all know what happened, but the reason the Challenger exploded is because there's this piece called the O-ring, and it goes around the shaft of the rocket booster, and it prevents fuel leakage. But the night before launch, temperatures dipped below freezing, the O-ring stiffened, fuel leaked, the explosion occurred. Now, 5 NASA engineers had warned that this would happen and begged NASA to stop the launch. NASA ignored all 5 of them. Those are the only 5 white men that know what it was like to be a woman in the workplace. And no, you guys aren't into Challenger comedy. So look, and I get it. The nation all got together after the Challenger explosion. We agreed to invest more in space, in research, in science, in safety for space exploration. And I was really behind that for a long time. Recently, however, billionaires started launching themselves into space. And now I'm trying to figure out how we get them all to take off from Anchorage, Alaska in January. We'll keep working on the Challenger bit. Okay, I'll do one more bit for you. Used to be a city councilor in a small rural Oregon town. I was the first queer city councilor. I was one of the only progressive people elected. It was one of the scariest things I've ever done. And most of the time, what you do on city council, as controversial as politics has gotten, and I guess has been for eternity, most of the stuff you do is nonsense, right? I'm learning about the lifespan of a street sweeper. I'm figuring out what to do with our wastewater sludge when we have to remove it every year, right? Not exciting stuff. There's sometimes controversy. Most of the time you walked into council chambers and no one was there. But every now and again you'd walk into council chambers. The agenda would be boring, and it would be standing room only, full of people who yell at me on the internet. My favorite people to be surrounded by. And this happens because there's something they call public comment. And public comment is when anyone from anywhere can say anything they want for 3 uninterrupted minutes. Y'all, this time they were here to talk about a book. They didn't like it. It was called Lick Like a Lesbian, a fun but informative guide to oral sex. Public comment was unhinged. It started with a woman from our school board who urged everyone listening to remove their children, take them out of the room, because she was about to read excerpts from the book out loud at a city council meeting on public record. And I'm still convinced she did that because she was hoping her husband was listening. She was followed by this gentleman who is the executive director and founder of the Oregon Firearms Federation, a no-compromise gun lobby. And he was so excited that he could not stop saying the name of the book. Repeatedly, it was, "Look like a lesbian." He sounded mad, but he said it with such gusto, you could hear the glimmer in his eye. And to thank these people for supporting them, some of the more conservative members of my council who wanted the book censored, one of my fellow city councilors chimed in and said, "I don't care if it's licking or whatever, that's not okay. I could go all night on that." But could he? Could he go all night on that? I don't think so. And you might be wondering why something like this would happen at City Council. And there are a lot of things that happen at City Council for which I have no answers. In this case, however, just a few days before the meeting, the mayor had directed our city administrator to remove every reference of this book from our public library. The book wasn't even in our public library. These people just hate mouth stuff so much, they wanted the whole world to know, and they wanted it on YouTube forever. And I think we all learned something that day. It's always sexually repressed white women and men that can't get their wives off that ruin it for everyone. When it comes to oral sex, they are scared, they are screaming. My name is Sarah Spoon. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. We would love to do this again next year and the year after and make a thing. So get your 5-minute sets ready because MAGWest 2025 is probably about a year away. All right, thank y'all.